What is consciousness? What kind of being is the creator? Itzhak Bentov reveals a shocking worldview.
Hello, everyone. I'm Murillo. To reach global audience, I'll be speaking English. You can listen your preferred language by going to Setting and selecting Audio Track. And today, I'd like to introduce a book, Stalking the Wild Pendulum, written by Itzhak Bentov. It's about consciousness and the creator.
Itzhak Bentov was an Israeli-American scientist, inventor, and mystic. He made groundbreaking inventions in the field of biomedical engineering while also leaving a significant mark on the profound exploration of the relationship between human consciousness and the universe.
Born in Czechoslovakia in 1923, Bentov fled Nazi persecution during World War II and immigrated to the British Mandate for Palestine. And he joined the scientific corps of the Israel Defense Forces. After moving to the United States in 1954, he settled in Massachusetts and further blossomed as an inventor. One of his most notable inventions is the steerable heart catheter. While achieving success in science and technology, Bentov maintained a deep, lifelong interest in meditation and poured his passion into exploring human consciousness. He believed that science and spirituality were not opposing forces but could be integrated. His ideas are encapsulated in a unique model of the universe, consciousness, and the nature of reality. This model incorporates concepts from quantum physics to explain higher states of consciousness and the structure of the cosmos in an accessible way. The CIA, during its investigation into the nature of consciousness at the Monroe Institute, referenced Bentov's explanations in its documents. Bentov tragically passed away on May 25, 1979, in the crash of American Airlines Flight 191, which went down shortly after takeoff from Chicago O'Hare International Airport. He was on his way to California, where he was scheduled to present his ideas on science and mysticism to a group of Japanese scientists. I believe that knowledge about consciousness that he attempted to explain to the scientists is written in his book. I'd like to introduce you what's written in it. But the knowledge is seemingly gained by his meditation. It's difficult to prove scientifically, so I would like to introduce it as one perspective.
What is consciousness? You probably think that consciousness is something special, exclusive to beings with brains, like humans and animals. But what if that pebble lying on the side of the road also had consciousness?
According to Bentov, consciousness is the ability to react to a stimulus. For example, take bacteria. When you shine a light on them, they move a little. That is a reaction. Now, what about us humans? If someone speaks to us, we can laugh or get angry. We can have much more complex reactions than bacteria. Bentov believed that this variety of reactions is what constitutes the amount of consciousness. If you take this rule to its logical conclusion, even atoms and rocks have some kind of reaction to stimuli. It's incredibly small, but it's not zero. This means that they also have consciousness. According to him, the idea that only living things have consciousness is just an arbitrary assumption on our part. Bentov also proposed that there are different levels of consciousness in the world. Minerals have their level of consciousness, plants have theirs, and humans have theirs, with each experiencing a different reality.
As you can see in this diagram, all matter, starting from atoms, is on a journey along an arrow of evolution, continuously raising its level of consciousness. Where is the goal of this journey? It is what he calls the absolute, the source of all consciousness in the universe, the creator. Our own consciousness may be right in the middle of this grand cosmic journey of evolution. According to Bentov, the reality of this universe is made up of just two elements, the absolute and the relative. First, the absolute is the standard for everything, like the backdrop of a stage. It's quiet, eternal, and invisible. It's a state of complete stillness before all sound is born. Then, the relative is the layer of moving sound or vibration that emerges from that stillness. In other words, it's the ever-changing physical world that we can see, hear, and touch. Bentov explains the relationship between these two using the metaphor of sound. What we call matter, things like a desk, a cup, and even our own bodies, may seem hard and solid, but from his perspective, they are completely different. Bentov states that matter is almost empty space with the vibrating energy. It's like the frequency and strength of the sound from a speaker create specific patterns in sand. In the same way, the frequency and patterns of cosmic vibrations give rise to the apparent solidity and form of matter. This phenomenon is studied in a field called cymatics. When we apply this principle to the universe as a whole, our reality becomes a vibrational reality filled with various sounds, and all matter in the universe is a hologram created by sound vibrations. We perceive the differences in the patterns created by these diverse sound waves as reality. Imagine an infinitely vast, silent ocean. This calm, still ocean in its entirety is the absolute, or pure consciousness. And the ripples on the surface of this ocean are the relative, which is our reality. When the wind blows and waves form, the water's surface, which was previously invisible, becomes a recognizable shape. In the same way, the world we perceive as relative is simply the movement that has been added to the quiet sea of absolute consciousness. No matter how rough the waves get, the depths of the ocean remain still. But what we must not forget is that both the waves and the stillness of the sea are made of the same water. Looking at the diagram, we can see that there are worlds above the human's reality. First is the astral reality. This astral reality is not some world unrelated to us. We visit there every night while we sleep. Why do we go to such a place? According to Bentov, it's a way for us to see a sneak peek of what's ahead. The arrow of evolution points from the physical level to the astral level. In other words, nature is gradually showing us to the next world during our sleep, allowing us to rehearse so that we are not shocked by the next event, which is death. This cycle of death and life is depicted as an ascending spiral. By repeating the spiral over and over, a soul that has learned everything it needs to learn in the physical world no longer needs to return to a physical body. In a sense, it graduates from the physical dimension. So then, what are the worlds above our physical reality like? The astral world seems to be, in essence, the same world we usually experience in dreams. Whatever one imagines appears instantly, and the scenes change right away. And, as Robert Monroe and Emanuel Swedenborg describe, there are negative spirits dwelling in its lower realms. In the mental reality, such negative elements completely disappear. Only the emotion of love exists, and the pursuit of knowledge becomes dominant. And in the intuitive reality, knowledge comes instantly and intuitively, as if in a flash. An incomprehensible level of reality seems to unfold there. So, what did you think? It's such a mind-bogglingly vast story that it's hard to believe. But a scientist who produced useful inventions would have little to gain from writing a whole book of lies or fantasies. Furthermore, the timing of his plane crash makes me feel that it might not have been a simple accident. It's a great shame to think that if he had lived longer, he might have introduced the spiritual world in greater detail, perhaps explaining how to experience such worlds through meditation. May Mr. Bentov rest in peace. So, thank you for watching until the very end. I would be happy if you could write your thoughts in the comment section. And if you find this video interesting, please subscribe and hit the like button. I'll see you next time.